there's a lot of that. But that's not why we go, Mike. That's not why we go.
Okay. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all of us being here and being here safe. Please heal any of us that need it and touch our hearts so that we will make the right decisions for the city of Boonville. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Welcome, everybody. We're going to start out with roll call.
Venable, Turner,
Here.
Stock,
Here.
Young,
Here.
Meadows, here. Cowherd,
Here.
Harville,
Here.
Elbert.
Here.
Hearing of citizens' comments. If you have something you'd like to tell us about, come on up to the podium and tell us. You're limited to approximately 3 minutes.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Don't forget to sign in.
Oh, okay. And thank you, City Council, for giving me the few minutes to talk about this. My name is Robert Rohrer. I'm the Executive Director for the Boonville Housing Authority. And last week, the Board of Commissioners for the Housing Authority discussed a letter that we received from Terra Vista Development Corporation. And it had to do with the 48 units that is being proposed for low-income housing. Some questions were brought up about workforce housing. And I want to be real honest with you, there is no difference between workforce housing and low-income housing. Workforce housing is a marketing term that's put out by developers to get city councils and the public involved in accepting their proposals for constructing new low-income housing tax credits. So the Terra Vista Development Corporation has proposed building approximately 48 units, and the number of units that they plan on building are 12 two-bedroom units, 24 three-bedroom units, and 12 four-bedroom units. Currently, right now, the Boonville Housing Authority has 10 three-bedroom units, 20 two-bedroom units, and 20 one-bedroom units. So, on our wait list, as a result of Kemper Village being built, bringing in three-bedroom dwelling units, low-income housing into the city of Boonville, our wait list has diminished on our three-bedroom units. We feel as though there's already an abundance of three bedrooms, let alone four bedrooms. So on our current wait list, we have right at 32, I did a recount today, 32 people on our one-bedroom units. We have 10 people on our two-bedroom units, and we have 2 people on our three-bedroom units. The two people that are on our three-bedroom units do not even reside in Cooper County, and I doubt, based off of their current income, they would be seeking employment here in Boonville. So this new low-income housing project that is going in, if you guys decide to allow it to happen, is you can't really determine what type of residents are going to be living there, other than it's going to be a broad spectrum, like what we have low-income housing at the Boonville Housing Authority, low-income at Kemper Village, low-income at Rankin Mill, Boone Village Apartments, Village Meadows. It's a broad mix. Some are employed, some are not. Some we have right at zero income. They can fluctuate, but we have a lot that are on receiving Social Security, which is the same way at Kemper Village, Rankin Mill, and all the other locations. So you can't say calling it workforce housing is just a catch type phrase. My concern, and when we brought it up to the Housing Authority commissioners, is that it's unnecessary for a community this size, and for our wait list only having 2 people on them, to put that many people or to put that many units for 3 and 4 bedrooms is just not justified, and it would be a detriment to the housing authority of the City of Boonville. As a part of the application process, the developer is required to send us a letter notifying housing authorities if it would affect our agency in any way. We were the first low income, and we're part of the city. So I'm doing my job when I got this letter to report back to you that it's not necessary. We would support, and we do support, and the commissioners told me to come up here and talk to you about low-income housing, and that they support it. But they would support, at the same location, 1-bedroom units, but the developers don't necessarily enjoy putting in 1-bedroom units. There you go. 4, 3, 2, 1. They make most of their money building 2, 3, 4-bedroom units. And MHDC agrees with them. MHDC is developer driven. They don't necessarily...
Okay, Bob, come on.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
come on.
Let me write my name.
Thank you, sir. It's good to see you, and it's
Good to see you, too.
Hear from you. Who's up next? Oh, Mary Pat.
Will you keep track for me of the time?
I will
Mayor?
keep track.
Thank you.
you.
I'm Mary Pat Obley, and I'm here to, first of all, thank the council for your support and the city's support of our event coming up this Saturday, Sippin', Strollin', Rockin' and Rollin'. It's going to take place 4 o'clock to 7 to sip and stroll, and 7 to 10 to rock and roll. I wanted to share with you something that we just have today, and that is, you asked for an update from time to time. We have our t-shirt with the logo on it that will identify all of the volunteers that we have. Oh, does this count if I pause?
Well, you do have to turn.
Oh, do I have to?
There you
Okay,
go.
here.
And you shouldn't hold the shirt up in front of your face.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you. We will have these shirts that will identify the volunteers. We will be taking orders for them for sale, in case anybody's interested. But I want to remind everyone that this is a benefit event, and it's a benefit for not just the Chamber of Commerce and their projects, but for the library's move to Kemper campus. And that's one of the big things that we're doing right now, is trying to raise money. We have the design plans that are going to be then turned into construction documents. This fall, we're going to be moving forward with finalizing interior design plans, moving into construction documents, adding bidding, and then hopefully construction. The huge turnaround in the economy has hurt everybody. We had a year ago an estimate. We took out some things, thought that we would lower the estimate, came back a month later, the estimate was higher after we even took things out. We did need to take a pause anyway because we needed to raise money. And in addition to fun projects like Sippin' and Strollin', Rockin' and Rollin', we are applying for grants. I'm working with economic development on ARPA funds that might be available for not-for-profits. We're looking toward individuals as well as businesses, organizations for their support. And we're very pleased to say that we have another naming opportunity donor who asked not to be revealed right now, of $25,000 that came in the last few days. So
Nice.
we're very appreciative. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support, and I'm available for questions anytime. Thank you.
Albert, you got a question?
I just had a quick question. So how much of a shortfall are we having on the library? Is that what you're saying? There's a shortfall in financing on the library?
Well, the problem is how much it really is going to cost to get in, and the fact that things are fluctuating so much that it's hard to pinpoint that. We need to be able to have at least 50% of what the total cost is going to be before we really start with the bidding process. We're not quite there yet. We're getting close. But the structural costs, it's going to be, okay, thank you. Yes.
Anybody else?
I think we need
Where's the
questions from
coldest beer gonna be Saturday?
Where is the coldest?
Coldest beer Saturday.
Well, we're going to be working on that tomorrow night, so ask me after that.
Okay. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, both of you. Approval of the minutes of September 6, 2022 council meeting. It's on pages 3 through 7.
There are corrected minutes at your place.
Oh, gotcha. Any corrections? Any changes? Okay, we will stand as submitted the second time, right? Yes.
Yeah.
There are no consent items. Presentation of accounts and claims on page 8.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the city of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on September 19, 2022. The sum of $434,983.22. General fund, $195,636.88. Sanitation, $22,036.19. CIP tax, $7,474.25. Waterworks, $132,490.59. Capital projects, $422.63. Wastewater, $41,608.45. Tourism, $4,466.88. Gaming, $30,344.87. Parks and Water, $502.48. Kemper sales tax, $0.00. Economic Development Projects, $0.00. Section 2, the accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $434,983.22, being the total amount of money being appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on September 19, 2022. Read for the second time this September 19, 2022, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I make a motion that we pay these accounts and claims.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Andrew. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Turner,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Elbert.
Yes.
Item 7, unfinished business. Third reading of bill number 2022-020 for approving annexation of 3.12 acres, currently known as 17310 Highway B. The future address is 2395 Main Street. Can I have a motion to approve?
That's a move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Steve, thank you for the motion and second. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Turner,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Elbert.
Yes.
Thank you. Item B, 7B. Third reading of bill number 2022, approving preliminary site plan for Scooters Coffee at 2395 Main Street. Can I have a motion to approve?
We need Amber to read it first.
Amber?
Yeah, let's read the other one too.
Well, we skipped it, didn't we?
Yes, we did it today. An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri approving a preliminary site plan for the construction of Scooters Coffee located at 17310 Highway B, Cooper County, Boonville, Missouri. Future address is 2395 Main Street.
Motion? Thank you, Susan. I stepped on your words, didn't I?
I so move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Andrew? Okay, second. Questions or comments?
Albert, any issue in P and Z on this one?
I'm sorry?
There was no issues with planning and
No
zoning?
issues, no.
Roll call.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Elbert.
Yes. Passes. Thank you. Item 8, new business. 8A, street parking closure request. Closure request from Boonville High School Homecoming Parade. It's on page 9. Any question, or excuse me, can I have a motion? Andrew,
I'll motion.
Michael, is this a second? Comments, questions?
Have we ever not approved one of these?
It's correct.
We have,
At least
we
in my
have
lifetime.
amended one significantly in my tenure
Oh, we did?
due to some feedback.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Good question. Roll call.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Elbert.
Yes.
Passes. Item 8B, first reading of bill number 2022-024, approving a final site plan for Club Car Wash, 2420 Boone Slick Drive. It's on pages 10 through 16.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri approving the final site plan for Club Car Wash at 2420 Boonville Drive, Boonville, Cooper County, Missouri, providing an effective date therefore and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Thank you. Item C, first reading of bill number 2022-025, approving a final site plan for Scooters Coffee, 2395 Main Street. It's on pages 17 through 26.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri approving the final site plan for Scooters Coffee at 2395 Main Street, Boonville, Cooper County, Missouri, providing an effective date therefore and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Thank you, Amber. Item D, first reading of bill number 2022-026, approving a final site plan for Phase 3 apartment complex at Boone Point subdivision. It's on pages 27 through 36.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri approving the final site plan for Boone Point subdivision Phase 3 apartment complexes located on Ashley Road adjacent to Rolling Hills Park.
Thank you, Amber. Item E, first reading of bill number 2022-027, accepting the sewer and water infrastructure for Phase 1 of Boone Point development. It's on pages, it's on pages 35 and 36.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri accepting the sewer lines and water distribution lines and appurtenances in Phase 1 in Boone Point subdivision for maintenance purposes, providing an effective date therefore and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Item F, first reading of bill number 2022-028, amending the City of Boonville Access Management Manual, Boonville Code of Ordinances, Appendix B, regarding concrete street, residential street specifications. It's on pages 37 through 39.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, amending Appendix B, Access Management Manual of the Boonville Code of General Ordinances, amending the street specifications for concrete residential street specifications, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Item G, consider resolution R 2022-XX supporting the Kemper Village application.
Just for clarity, it's my apologies, I put the agenda together. It should say 2022-15, which is what is on page 40 of the agenda.
Okay.
My apologies, I didn't catch it. A resolution of the City of Boonville, Missouri, supporting the construction of Village at Kemper Greens, a family residential community. Whereas Terra Vesta Development Corp. has proposed to develop up to 48 units of family affordable housing known as Village at Kemper Greens, located off the west side of Kemper Drive, just north of Ashley Road in the City of Boonville, Missouri. And whereas the City of Boonville, Missouri recognizes the need for safe, quality-built, affordable housing for family citizens as a priority, and whereas the construction of said residential apartment community will provide affordable housing for families and will be in the best interest of the residents of Boonville, Missouri, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri, that support is hereby granted to Terra Vesta Developments, LLC, for the application to the Missouri Housing Development Commission for tax credits and financing to assist in the aforementioned project. Be it further resolved that the city clerk is hereby instructed to forward a copy of this resolution to the Missouri Housing Development Commission and Terra Vesta Developments, LLC. Passed this 19th day of September 2022 by the City Council of Boonville, Missouri.
Is there a motion?
I'll motion that we approve this resolution.
Thank you, Andrew. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Comments, questions?
Yeah, I have questions for the developer, if they can answer them. Obviously, we had comments before the meeting.
Yes.
We have 12 two-bedrooms, 24 three-bedrooms, 12 four-bedrooms planned. There's definitely a need for 1 and 2 bedrooms for low-income housing. Is there any additional way you can change that floor plan?
There is possibilities that we can be able to make changes to that, to be able to add some 1-bedrooms to that. Right now, at this point, with our application process, I don't know that we'd be able to make that change at this point. But during kind of after the, if we are awarded the credits, and that is something that we can be able to go back and make an application back to the MHDC to make that change. So I might just kind of mention that, so we have done market research and market studies, and has come back and shown that we do have a very low capture rate, which is basically states what the demand is. So a low capture rate means that that there is a high demand for it. So shows that we should be able to, that the demographics within the area and everything of what's been going on with new jobs and everything, that it does show that that the housing is warranted. I know that in speaking with the plant manager out at Kawasaki and with CMMG, that they've had some folks that have turned down employment due to a lack of affordable housing for them. So what we are proposing is a family project. We're going to have some low income that we consider a 30% low income, 30% of the area median income, also with 60%, and then there will be some what we consider as market rate, which means that it's open to unrestricted income is available for it as well. So
Right, for the 3s and the 4s. Yeah, that's my biggest concern, is that there is no 1-bedrooms in the floor plans. Everything else looks great, and I like the fact that you're wanting to develop Boonville, of course, taking a piece of land that's not developed and doing something with it. But if we're going to be targeting low-income families, I think one-bedrooms, we have to have them. So.
Yeah, excuse me. And kind of comment with one of the things that Bob did mention, from MHDC standpoint, with the way that their funding mechanism does go into play with what we're looking at, the 2, 3s, and 4s are more financially feasible from an MHDC standpoint from the credits that they award per unit. So kind of right now with the construction pricing as it is, that being able to bring in very many one-bedrooms and what it does with the financing available back from MHDC provide some challenges with that. But it is something that we can be able to go back, assuming that that MHDC does give us an award. It is something that we can make an appeal for.
That's just a question.
Yes.
Do you find on these kind of developments, do we have say, tenants that's living in an apartment within the town moving from where they are to newer apartments, or do we generally see people coming from out of town taking those apartments? Or
It is a mix. We do have some folks that, from within the community that do take an opportunity to be able to move into these that might have had some rental that was more expensive than what they were able to afford. Given the fact that we do have, so we will have, I believe it is 15% of the overall units will be aimed at that lowest income level. So it does give an ability for some of the lowest of the income population to be able to move into to these apartments.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm certainly no expert on housing, but I do know every morning, if you listen to KWRT, you'll hear Kawasaki and Caterpillar advertising for workers. Well, the main reason I want to support this, 1, is for workers. 2, is for families, young families. This could be a step up for them, a way to move into our town, maybe get out of their current situation into a bigger property. So based on that, based on the development, based on the investment, I fully support this resolution.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, one of the challenges that we do have, I know from some of the homes that are selling, the prices, first, what I would consider a starter home, in the mid and upper $200,000 range. It is a challenge for a lot of beginning families, and that is one of the areas that we, generally see a lot of folks moving into our units like. And we'll mention, just kind of want to make sure, we do have on-site management that we have managers on site that help to take care of not just leasing issues, but any other issues that do come up within the development. So we are on site.
So is it possible to build a couple one-bedroom apartments, since we're needing one-bedroom apartments according to Bob Rohr?
Well, it's as I was stating earlier, it is something that we could go back, assuming if we are awarded the credits, the financing from MHDC, it is something that we can go back in for an appeal with MHDC on the application process to see if we, if they would support that change. But it is an appeal process at that.
So, okay, could we see that appeal process and see if we couldn't get some one-bedroom apartments in before we go ahead and give them a resolution to say yes or no?
Well, we don't have anything to do with the appeal process, and I think as Craig is saying, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, it's after the award would occur. So their application is due, and if they're successful, then they can go back and ask for a change.
That is correct.
I think we need to bank on future growth. I mean, the town's not gonna grow if you don't have places for people to come and move to. I mean, this will bring in more people to town, and we need to look at the future.
Anybody else?
I was just going on what Bob was telling us, and that what he needs for a house, for low-income housing, I thought that maybe he could help us out and give us some one-bedroom apartments also to help stimulate, you know what I mean? Because we're down, we need more one-bedroom apartments than we need four-bedroom apartments. I just wonder if you could work with Bob and help her get something done in the sort of one-bedroom apartments.
Well, you know, with the market studies that we have done, yes, we have had previous knowledge, you know, there is a strong demand for some one bedrooms, and especially with some of the older demographic as well. We have, you know, in talking with some of the, you know, like I say, with a couple of manufacturers, they have stated that they've had some issues with housing for workers. Now, we're not proposing that this is going to be workforce housing because it is going to be open to the general population with the lowest of the income on up. But so that is kind of where we have seen that there is a strong need for it.
Did you audit the current rents for 3 and 4 bedroom housing here in Boonville?
So we have a professional third-party market study that is completed on it, that they do rents, comparable studies in Boonville and some of the surrounding areas, and has come back and shown that the rents that we're proposing are competitive within what the market is able to maintain.
Okay, so I'm a single guy doing a factory salary, maybe making, you know, 30 a year, and I got 3 kids. What am I going to pay for rent? I know you got a number.
I mean, we've got just kind of as a you know, if we're looking at a 3-bedroom apartment with a 60% AMI person, right now our proposed rent is looking at $575 is where we're currently coming in.
So that's my out-of-pocket is the $575.
That would be the apartment rent on that.
Okay, and your survey of properties in Boonville showed that there's not a significant number of 575 3-bedroom houses?
Well, it has come back and shown that within kind of a range, it hasn't given me the specifics on. So there's a lot of individual landlords that we don't have that information from, but they do have with some of the other apartment complexes that they've.
Okay, so if I'm friends with maybe half a dozen guys and gals that have got rental property, and they're renting 3-bedroom houses that they're keeping pretty good maintenance on, that are maybe 50, 60, 70 years old, and they're renting them for $550 to $650, that doesn't fill that gap. We've already got that. So you're going to come in and you're going to be at $575, which means you're going to be directly competing with investors already here that are trying to rent in those dollars. Does that mean, now, privately, very few 1-bedroom, not very many 2-bedroom rental properties out there. There's some of the older 2-bedroom houses that were built, you know, 30s and 40s that are out there. But we got a bucket full of 3-bedroom stuff out there that's privately owned. And we represent the private citizens here. How do we justify that? I know, it's an impossible question. And I meant for it to be an impossible question. But that question's got to be, it's got to be answered. You know, there are people that pay taxes in Boonville. They pay the property taxes, they pay the sales tax, they do all that. They fix up the houses and spend the money with the local stores. How do we justify to them that we're going to put in a rental piece of property that directly competes with them, right straight in their forehead? Well, hang on, Steve, he's getting the answer.
Well, we're not asking for any financial support or anything from the city. We're just asking that that the city, does state that they are in favor of having more affordable housing. But obviously, with the comments that we have had with, some of the employers, and we've had, just over the past couple of years, we've had pretty dramatic increases in the number of employees that are coming into our town. And so that's one of the things that we are looking at, to be able to help work, to be able to provide for that need that is developing within our town. We've got a lot of things that are going on, from the Kawasaki. CMMG has had its major expansion. Caterpillar continues. Spirit of 76 has had some major stuff, major increases in employment. The Club Car Wash coming to town, that's evidence that they see, a lot of growing population within the city. So I think that it's kind of a forward-looking opportunity for the city of Boonville to be able to look at this opportunity.
Steve, you were first.
Free market and growth. That's all I got to say.
Andrew, you.
So I do have a couple things. So in regards to the one-bedroom topic, not that I'm not sympathetic to that issue, but this is not solving for that issue. It never was meant to. It was meant to plan for future demand in this particular build slot, 2-3 bedrooms. So maybe if we want to do some initiatives on one bedrooms, maybe that's another project, is all I would say to that. So this is not trying to solve for a one bedroom shortage in the town. That's not the intent. It is trying to solve for future growth. And personally, I think competition is probably not a bad thing in the town. It might encourage those other renters to increase the quality of their rents. It might encourage this particular property to increase the quality as it relates to price. So I think as we look at this and we're looking to grow the pie, we're not assuming the pie is the same size in any situation. We are growing that pie. If you grow the pie, you have more people in there, demand goes up, quality should improve with competition. I don't see what the issue is. I think that there's a lot of good valid points brought up tonight, but all of these things being said, I don't see what the downside is. I really don't. I do think we can address other topics at other times, but with this particular target audience, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, my biggest concern is just calling it affordable housing. I mean, we signed this today, we approved this today. This is going on an application for affordable housing credits. And that could potentially take money away from programs here in Boonville, potentially take money away from programs here in Boonville that would affect low-income housing. And that's why I know that low-income housing needs one-bedroom apartments, and that's why I think it's very beneficial that we show that they're addressing that need. I get that, we can call demands for Caterpillar or Kawasaki employees or whatever. Those aren't low-income housing. Those are going to be your medium. And I just don't feel that if you're going to take this, put it on an application, that it addresses the low-income need. So,
Well, so the income levels of what we are looking at, so when we consider a 30% of the area median income, that is considered well below the poverty level, even a 60% area median income. So the area median income for Cooper County is, I believe it's $72,000 or $76,000. So that's an area median income for a family of 4. So when we talk about 60% of that, that's the most that family would be able to make to be able to live within our project for a percentage of the units. So we have the income restrictions, and then that's all. So by going through with the financing through MHDC, then we are signing a minimum of a 15-year compliance period with MHDC that says that we're going to be that we're pledging that our rents are going to remain at this project at these levels of what we are currently proposing. Now, they do allow for annual increases of no more than 2% on an annual basis. So to be able to kind of keep up with cost of living increases and such like that. So it is a long-term investment that we're looking to put into the city and be able to keep it as an affordable housing project.
Albert?
I will tell you this, I find it comforting to know that you're not going to ask the city of Boonville for one dime on this project. Is that what I heard you say?
That is correct.
Okay, well, that's comforting, and we're going to hold you to that.
Now, the financing of what we're putting together, so we're not asking for any tax abatements with this or anything, through that process with that. So the financing is strictly through the income tax credits that are afforded through Missouri Housing Development. And then we'll also have, so then we do end up having some long-term debt that is put onto the project as well that comes out of our cash flow on a monthly basis, just same as anybody's regular house payment.
Anything else? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Now, we'll emphasize, this is a resolution.
Yeah.
And if it's a resolution that says, we kind of like this and we want to see it happen. So basically what we're doing is we're kissing Craig so that he can go down there and kiss the people in Jeff City, right? Is that how it works? Okay, that it for the questions? Roll call.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
No.
Albert,
No.
Motion passes. Item 9, reports of standing committees. Planning and zoning. Albert, what would you like to tell us about the report that's on page 41 and 42?
Planning and zoning did meet on September the 13th, and we reviewed three final site plans. The club car wash, the Scooter Coffee, and the Boone Point Apartments. Everything cleared and looked fine on the car wash. I do have some questions about that if someone's here to answer. Scooter Coffee was fine. Everything that went through fine, and we recommend that be approved. Boone Point is a little different. There's about a half a dozen different engineering issues that's still outstanding. I think Scott probably had a chance to look at them by now, but we did approve that burn on the condition that those engineer requirements be met, and we will take it up on the next P&Z meeting.
No, you guys passed it on to council, conditional on the approval.
We did pass it to council? I thought we were going to, okay. I
No,
stand corrected.
it's okay, the way the meeting read, and Jeff can echo it, but was that since they were engineering issues, the commission didn't feel like it needed to come back to the commission, that if Scott signed off on it, they were okay with it.
Okay. So Scott signed off.
So the approval we gave, the votes, the yes vote that we gave was conditioned on solving those last, was it
Right.
7
And I thought-
items?
I thought my understanding, anyway, that's fine. My understanding was it's going to come back, but that's fine if that's what it was.
Yes.
And then just one other point I wanted to make, kind of attach on to here. I again have concerns, and it's come up two or three times about the pedestrian traffic on Ashley Road going out south. And I brought that in, pedestrian traffic, I brought that up in conjunction with this. I knew that the P&Z was not going to take that issue up, but I wanted to go on record again saying I believe there is a need for a sidewalk or some type of walkway on Ashley Road going south. It's not uncommon at all to see people walk in that area, and most of the time they're out in the road, and I'm just afraid someone's going to get hit or killed out there, and I think we can be proactive and do something about that. I'd like to get that on the record anyway, as something we want to look at.
Question. So would that be a state issue, or would that be a city issue to put a sidewalk out there?
It is a state right of way, but the state is quite happy for us to plan, design, and pay for a sidewalk on their right of
Wouldn't
way.
lie. And I agree with you, that is an issue. I see them go past our warehouse all the time. Yeah, it's an issue.
Thanks, Albert.
Albert, you are talking about all the way out to the high school though, aren't you? Is that actually?
That's a good point,
I mean,
so.
yeah, my thing was, because I used to drive out there picking my kids up from daycare. I met you out there one time, and every time I drive there from the high school, it seems like all the way down there, there's people that walk that.
Yeah.
So,
It really is.
It's really bad though from like town to Rolling Hills or a little further.
A little further out.
Yeah.
Out to where Excel in that area. It's really a lot of movement out there.
There.
Yeah. Well, I knew up through that subdivision, it was, I usually see them coming out of subdivisions and stuff.
That's-
Thank you. Reports of city officials, city administrator.
Just a couple things that I wanted to discuss. First of all, on page 43, I provided you with a memo letting you know that Teresa and myself, eventually all the department heads, will be involved in some ordinance revisions. We just sort of need to go through them comprehensively and just update them. There are some things that maybe don't agree with each other. Just make sure that we're still that everything is current and up to date. Some may not have any changes, some might have some minor changes, and some may have some significant changes as we review those. Doug will also do a review just to make sure that we're in compliance with any state statutes. So the first sort of batch that I would like to move forward with, which I didn't want to do it without you guys sort of seeing what it would look like, is pushing all of the fees the city charges to an appendix schedule of fees. So right now, if you want to know the trash rates, you got to go to sanitation, and it's in sanitation. And if you want to rent a shelter house, it's in another section. And if you want to know about the impound fees for the animal control, it's in another section. So sort of by condensing it all in the schedule of fees, while of course that appendix is going to be significantly longer than it currently is, it will be comprehensive, and all of the ordinances in the chapters will just refer to see schedule of fees. So for us, it will be a little bit easier because there are times where maybe there is an overlap, and if we change it, but we miss the one that's in the ordinance, but not the one in the schedule of fees, then we don't, we kind of have that conflict that we're wanting to avoid. I also am requesting that we do some increases in our schedule of fees. So these things are over and above sort of our routine business. This isn't talking about the things that we do every day. These are fees that we pass on to people who are asking for us to review site plans, who are not mowing their lawn, so who are in non-compliance with some sort of nuisance, pool parties, water deposits, water and sewer tapping fees. So these are things that we can recoup the money on. And essentially, I've given you kind of some bulleted items. The first one is equipment and employees, and all of my recommendations are in here, and they're the ones in red, and I put what the old rates were also next to it. So if you see two columns, that's why. So on pages 46 and 47 is my recommendation for the equipment and employee, and as you'll see, we haven't changed that since 2009. So those are 2009 rates, which I think we can all say should probably be changed a little bit. The pool party fees, we've just, after discussion, thinking that we would just like to change it to a flat rate of $350, and it doesn't matter whether you're in town or out of town. Animal impound fees, that's a general increase. Those haven't been increased since 2015. Business license fees, the peddler fee specifically is what we're looking to change. It has not been changed since 2006, and we used to charge $10 for the additional person. It now costs $15 plus an administrative fee just to do the background check, so we're losing $5 every time we do that administrative fee. We've actually gotten rid of that. I would like to just have one peddler's fee. So if you have two people out selling, it's $25 for each of them, not an additional peddler. Water and sewer primacy fees, these are adjusted by the state annually, and currently in ordinance they're tied to the rate that we thought they were. But what we are now doing is we're tying it to the state statute and the notice that they provide of the rates. So if they go up, they go up. That is in your water and sewer bills. Water deposits, this is supposed to reflect a 2-month deposit. It's currently, I think, $113. That's a month. Again, as a reminder, you get your deposit back. So if you pay your bill on time, consistently, you get your deposit back. And then finally is the water disconnection fee. We used to have a disconnect and a reconnect fee, and we're moving it to one fee. And the primary reason we're doing that is, if you remember, we've moved to the automated payments over the phone and online, and it's caused this problem where you have to create a cutoff list. And sometimes people come in and they're on the 11th hour, so then you don't charge the disconnect fee because they pay at the last minute. But like the way our system works, we can't have that flexibility. So by moving to one fee, it's going to allow us to just create that cutoff list. And then even if they pay on the spot staring there, then they'll still be able to pay online. And that's really what we want to do. Is so oftentimes when someone goes out to turn off the water, the resident might come out and go, no, I'm going to pay it right now. So now they'll actually be able to get on the phone and pay it right then and show us. So they'll save money ultimately by not having to pay that disconnection fee. So those are the increases that I'm recommending. The rest of them are not being changed. It's just that we're moving them all to the schedule of fees. So when I don't have to put this on the next meeting, you guys can think about all that if you want, but I'm just warning you, when we move to the ordinance revisions with the schedule of fees, it's going to be about 16 to 18 brand new ordinances. So there's just going to be a ton of first readings and second readings, but they're all doing this. So I wanted to bring that to your attention and kind of get your thoughts and opinions before I proceeded.
Is this in line with like other cities? I mean, I assume like Columbia has, I mean, every one of these same fees.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to know that we are, you know, it's a lot of red, you know, but are we getting in line with what it should be?
Yeah, and we don't have any fees out of the ordinary particularly, and like our building permit fees, I didn't touch any of our plan review fees or any sort of those things. And that's one area, like when you go look at some of the bigger cities, you'll see there'll be considerable more cost in a building permit, not because the actual permit part, it's the review fees. The plan review fees are significantly more. But yeah, these are definitely more in line with what you're seeing in other cities.
How did you arrive at some of these figures? Is it indexed to inflation or anything, or?
I was gonna index the equipment employee fees, but frankly, it would have been higher. So I did not feel good. I thought 25, I think it would have been closer to about 33 to 35% if I indexed it to inflation. So I did not do that much. Now, I should also say that previously, as a whole, many of the schedule of fees were sort of adjusted every 2 years. And that's something that we have kind of gotten away from. So that's something else I would try to do, is that we'll just take it that every couple of years we'll look at this entire schedule of fees and make sure that we're in line with where we need to be. The pool party fee, it's just a minor increase. Primarily, a lot of it is just a part of either the cost of things having gone up or animal impound fees, the cost of dog food's gone up, all that stuff. So we're just trying to kind of catch up a little bit. But I can't tell you there was an exact rhyme or reason to my math.
I guess here's my quick feedback on this thing. So on the things regarding the heavy equipment and things like that, I completely understand that we have to buy heavy equipment, and the heavy equipment pricing and labor, everything has gone up. I think we need to be extremely careful though on everything else. So a lot of these fees on some of the water meters and things, we're seeing it almost double. I think we need to exercise caution with this, because we need to be very prudent with this and keep everything affordable in the town. I mean, we do pay pretty high sales tax in Boonville. The city, I don't want to say has a surplus of money, but we're doing well financially as a city. I want us to be careful with these.
Yeah.
The small fees really can stick in people's minds and cause problems.
And Jeff can talk to the tap fees that you're talking about on the meter size. That's for
Yeah.
new connections.
Yeah.
And
Some meters, they was 179, now they're 329. I mean, they went up big time.
The 2.5 meter was the big increase. That was like $900 or $1,000
Yeah.
almost to
And-
$2,000.
And the people that have that are the Kawasaki's. That's not your normal residential
So that's new
meter.
build, okay.
It's new build and it's
Gotcha.
big industry. So, for most of your 5 inch and your 3/4 and that 1 inch are kind of where you're residential, and that's all new build. So that's what you're seeing. But I can adjust any of these. These are just our recommendations, kind of for looking at where prices are and trying to make sure that we're not just, eating costs. You know, we're trying to at least break even or catch up a little bit. And you guys can provide feedback over the course of the next one, and we can aim to do this at the October meeting.
Anything else?
Just a couple other comments. It was kind of dark when you came in, so maybe you didn't see, but the parks crew has been very hard at work sprucing up our building. So I encourage everyone during the daylight I was gonna make everyone get up and take a field trip around the building, but it's dark, so we'd be out there with flashlights. They've been painting, scraping windows. I think one of the biggest things is they cleaned the windows on the outside, which probably made as much difference as anything else. So, just a thank you to the parks crew, and we've had some I just lost, what are they?
Volunteers?
No, community service, some community service people who have some hours that they have to do, that they've been excellent help. So thank you to all of them. And then I also want to just give a shout out as we're closing up on summer and coming into fall, that as always, our flowers were amazing. So big credit to the flower, the queen flower ladies, Helen and yeah, what'd you say? Mary, and particularly Mary's picked up the slack lately a little bit. So, as Helen's been unfortunately out sick. So, thank you to them for making our town look great. So, I'm very appreciative for that.
Questions for Kate? Okay, I have no comments. Economic developer. Everybody has to make some sort of a remark about a beautiful lady with a tie.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
up with,
And
what is up with
it's not
that?
a clip tie either. So, just a quick suggestion, one bedrooms, I just want to say, we have a downtown upper level that a lot of the buildings are vacant. Just keep that in the back of your mind. I'm exploring, right now with Midmo Regional, a potential grant that might help Cheryl Gates out. You know, she came to you guys about trying to do a downtown development. I've sent her that information, so I'm trying to follow that. I'm not going to be like Craig and not ask you guys for money. So I will say, if we're going to have that ask, we're probably going to need money. But that's for Cheryl to decide. But I have told her I would be interested in being in that committee, so I will be involved in that, but just food for thought. So I'm kind of going to do something a little different this time, and instead of telling you guys projects that's not going to help you that I'm working on, and I entered one today, Project Cauliflower, I'm going to just kind of tell you that kind of how I proposed it today at Rotary. We're all involved in economic development, whether we realize it or not. And I just kind of wanted to give you guys some examples of things that I've been involved in and working with and connecting to, and how everybody is an economic developer. I mean, I can't do this alone. And I reach out to different experts who help me be successful and make me look good. So just for example, Job Finders Employment Services reached out to the City of Boonville, who then sent them to me. They were needing to assist a Howard County company workforce procurement. I connected the company with our area Chamber of Commerce, and I shared with them all the benefits, including their biweekly mailing to over 300 members, their website posting jobs, which are free to members, gave them Mary and Jody's contact information.
And I asked if they knew about our Boonslick Employment and Education Expo, which they did not, and connected them to Audrey Phelps. So every October, we have an expo where companies could post or set up a shop down at the Isle of Capri, or a table down at the Isle of Capri, and be able to get different students, seniors who are going to be touring through there, and other workforce. And that's every year. This is going to be our 4th annual year. I also asked them if they had reached out to the economic developer of Howard County, and they had not. So I said I'd track them down. I had never met them myself, and I knew that I needed to reach out to them. So Howard County is tied in with Moberly's economic development. So I reached out to them and connected the Howard County ED to job finders to help that Howard County community. And I tell you this because as a result of my efforts of reaching out to them, the Moberly ED team member, Randy Asbury, wanted to have a meeting with me. Their board wanted to have lunch with me, which is great, and to talk about things. And while I had him in that meeting, I said, hey, we have a common asset that we need to work together, which is the port, the Howard County, Cooper County Port. I got that on his radar, got him connected to John Spinago with our Port Authority, and I told him that John is in the process, and the Port Authority in the process of applying for a $5 million grant. But with any grant, you have to have these matches, and the more you match, the higher you match, the higher your point. So I asked Randy if he would ask his Howard County commissioners if they had any extra funding through ARPA or whatever to help in that effort, because I've already reached out to our county commissioners and asked the same thing, which, I think we're just that collaboration work and my connecting with that job finders, Howard County got me that connection with Randy. I received this morning an email from Randy, and he is reaching out to the Howard County commissioners for that ask. We're all connected in this process of economic development. We all have knowledge and expertise to guide and share. Another example, Kat sent a retired HR person from Peoria, Illinois to Boonville to assist in their workforce recruitment at the Boonville facility. I connected him to Carrie Reisner at BTEC, our chamber, Audrey Phelps, and State Fair Community College. Every single contact, and we had like all these different meetings, and every single contact assisted Kat in this process. This was true community effort. I also set up tours with MU engineering professor to Kat Kawasaki CMMG that were able to make connections and outreach to the engineering department, which every corporation usually hires engineers, so it was a good partnership in that front. Last Friday, I received a letter from Boonville Caterpillar HR department celebrating Manufacturing Month, and they want me to help them reach out. They want to have an open house and tours of their facility, and they want me to reach out to area high schools, preferably seniors, and see if I can collaborate with the high school teams to see if they would come and tour. Something that I learned on my 2 tours, and every time I tour these facilities with all these different people, I learn something new every time. Kat has a tuition payback reimbursement, so one of their leaders there actually took advantage of that and was sharing that information. Not everybody has the funds for tuition. This might be an opportunity that they could utilize that. So that is the first week of October that I will be trying to coordinate that. I've set up meetings with SFCC and Kawasaki and Kat. SFCC deans have toured the BTEC. BTEC director has toured SFCC and their newly constructed welding facility with their cobot simulators, CNC machines, and welding bays. Getting all these people connected just brings more awareness of our assets to this community and generally brings opportunity. and it has. SFCC has introduced into our potential campus a program for commercial driving license training, CDL training for our campus. We're in competition with another facility, but Bethany Pfeiffer, our director at the Kemper campus, connected the instructors to me, Carrie Reisner, Kathy Gokenhauer. We are all brainstorming and reaching out to experts in our area trucking companies. I reached out to Grice. We have called Randy Potter. I need to follow up with that. And we've called a couple other ones. And I can tell you in this effort, because they know that space, I don't know that space. I know that we have supply chain issues, trucking issues. If you talk to any trucking companies, as I have done now, I talked to 2 today, and they both are saying every time someone wants to come work for them, they ask them, do you have a CDL license? And they don't. So, so they can't hire them. So I think this would be a big asset to our community to have. And all of that kind of goes back to just connecting with the Sedalia campus and constantly asking them when they're here on campus, how can we expand our campus's footprint? And this leads quite well into the announcement and talking about economic development. Having a local newspaper helps economic development. Windsor Place Industrial Park announced a Missouri certified site. Having a local radio station all helps us promote our area and promotes economic development. And how this CDL could help this, if this becomes an industrial site, just to have that training here might encourage people to look at this site and as a heads up, hey, they've got CDL in their area, but this area doesn't. So it might give us that competitive edge. Plus, it could also help our existing companies that are already here that need additional truck drivers too. I want to thank Laura Wax because I would call her with things. The Public Service Commission announcement with the virtual meeting and what we had last Thursday that Kate and I attended. I asked her if she'd gotten any notice of that to report that, and she had not. So I gave her the information where to go, and again, she reported that so people could attend that virtual meeting. Kate and I attended it, and I will say one of my board members attended also. It was quite encouraging last Thursday to see familiar faces and familiar names on that site, because it was quite intimidating for me to talk to a judge, and I was totally out of my comfort zone. But after I listened to Kate, and she was so awesome, you guys would have been so proud of her, I was thrilled to be able to have that opportunity to have a voice, to be heard. And whatever the outcome is, whatever, but at least we did hear it. It seemed like it was something that was kind of under the table, that maybe it wasn't given us, they didn't give us notice like when I was reading through the documents, I pulled an all-nighter like I did in college, and that was fun. Just reading through all of the documents, and I did see that they did send a certified notice to one of the parties to notify them of a motion, but unfortunately our city was not given that same respect, and our county commissioners were not either. The Village of Windsor Board was not either. So it was quite a learning experience for me to learn about all this, and just little things like this with the daily news, and everybody, our schools, everybody is connecting these dots in economic development. And I just want to close. Differences make us stronger. Different opinions brings new ideas. Different experiences brings us more expert resources. We are better together, and we are all a part of economic development, and you guys especially. So thank you very much. That's all I have. Any questions?
I did one question. I noticed a couple of meetings ago we approved a warehouse for 512 Investment.
For what?
A rezoning for a C2 for
Yep.
their warehouse. What's going on? Have you heard anything about that, or?
I have not.
There's no plan at this point in time.
Okay.
That's their preliminary plan,
Right.
but they won't begin construction until they find a tenant. So I
Okay.
think that's what they're doing. It's kind of a long-term.
Are they a build-to-suit? I don't know. Are they
It's-
trying to do that?
It's, yeah. I mean, they're not gonna build ahead of time.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I'm asking, I know the last meeting, they had actually purchased 2 additional plots of land out of the 6 that we had for sale. So obviously, they're taking an interest in Boonville, so I was wondering if they had plans that you knew of, so.
Yeah, no.
Gigi, I was just curious, so if we talk about kind of the big 4 of Boonville, so Caterpillar, CMMG, Kawasaki, and Spirit 76, do you have, just
And Hubert Fiberboard.
and Hubert, so
Yes,
the big
yeah,
5 of
yeah,
Boonville.
yeah.
So do you have any idea how many openings just those 5 companies might have, just generally speaking? I'm just curious, I don't know if there's.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I mean, I could have told you maybe a month ago. I know that Kawasaki was over 100 on their first line. The last time I toured it, CMMG, the time that I was taking MBU through, I think they said they needed another 25. I don't know if Hubert, I reached out to them. I haven't heard from Hubert. I did see that Spirit of 76 was advertising, so I will need to reach out to them. But I can try to get those numbers.
Yeah, I was
because,
just curious.
But you know what, honestly, Andrew, I need to know those numbers too.
I mean, I don't, like I said, I do hear the
No,
commercials
nope,
all the
right,
time, you know,
right.
they're on.
And you see cats posted.
Yeah, and they have billboards and everything
yeah.
around, so then I was just curious, like, what is the
The-
volume that
The
they're?
last time I toured CAT, I think they were down to 24, but as I was touring, they were bringing people in to interview, so I can follow up with that because it would be nice to know, but not always do they get back with
Right,
me, I
yeah.
can tell
It's
you
just
that.
it's more my curiosity than anything.
No, I think it's good to know. Any other questions?
Thank you, Gigi.
All right.
City Clerk?
Nothing.
Miscellaneous. Pop-up.
Two quick
Go,
quick
Albert.
items. I wanted to mention that we're getting some good positive feedback on the pay your water bill by phone. I think that's going over really well, and thanks to Teresa and Kate and everybody who's involved in getting that implemented. I think all indications that's going rather well. Also, and Russ, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I wonder if you could just quickly, if you're familiar with the Jackson, Mississippi water situation? I'm just wondering if you could just, in layman
I
terms.
read that article about 3 weeks ago, and I haven't heard about it since.
Okay, well, I just wanted to try to reach a clear understanding. It's not clear to me exactly what happened down there, but if you can give us assurance that that's never happened here, that's probably all I really need.
I can tell you, I've seen on the Jackson, Mississippi website, their city website, there was a proclamation put out by their mayor, and then there was, whereas this happened on this date, and whereas this happened on this date, and it started back in May of 2020 with mechanical issues, and then they dealt with flooding, and their backups were underwater, and there's a lot of other things that he mentioned, but it's on their website if you ever want to read it. But to answer your question, are we headed there? I don't think so. No, we're in good shape. We're in good shape.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Get up and go.
Hey, who seconded that?
Mike, sorry. Always, he's a perpetual second.
If he's here.